Now then, Sodom have released a new EP, which is a brand new re-recorded version of their 1987 track Bommenhagel. So, how does this new version compare to the original? Hello Satan, I am Jason Arnop. You might remember me from Kerrang magazine back in the day. I'm an author these days, but I still love the metal. If you subscribe to this channel, you'll be seeing a lot of vinyl, thrash metal, ranking videos, and also interviews. I am planning to delve into my audio archive of interviews I did for Kerrang magazine. So if you'd like to encourage me to do that, you know what to do. Back to Sodom then, and ever since they released this wonderful 1987 EP entitled Expurse of Sodomy, I still don't know what that means, but it's a really cool title. Sodom EPs have felt like a real event. This is one of the great thrash metal EPs. And it's got great songs on the back. It's got the lyrics on the back as well, which I think is pretty cool. I could probably make a video about this EP alone. In fact, I probably will make a video about the main 3 German thrash metal EPs. I think you know what I'm talking about, including other EPs around the same time from Destruction and Creator. But yeah, you've got Sodomy and Lust there, a lovely song to play to your grandmother. My Atonement and The Conqueror. Yes, I forgot it was called The Conqueror. I thought it was, yeah, I remembered that as just being Conqueror, but there you go. And so since that release, Sodom have released quite a few EPs, especially in recent years. They've released several over the last 3 or 4 years, and Bommenhagel is the latest one. It was originally intended to coincide with the summer festival season, but of course the summer festival season has all but collapsed due to COVID. But this is still a very nice kind of stopgap. Look, we're still here type of EP, and it's got 2 brand new tracks on the B-side, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So how does this new one compare to the original track? Now, the original Bommenhagel was on this wonderful album. This is the OG vinyl, as they say, of Persecution Mania, the 1987 album, and it's got so many great Sodom tracks on here. Nuclear Winter, Electrocution, Christ Passion, and at the end, Bommenhagel. Yeah, they kind of save Bommenhagel for last. It really feels like a natural closing track. It's not so much a pure thrash metal track, it's more like kind of the groovier end of Motorhead meets punk Bommenhagel. There's definitely something very different about it, and one of the special things about Bommenhagel is that it doesn't adhere to traditional song structures. It's basically 2 riffs and a bunch of guitar solos, and that's kind of interesting. It's always nice when a song breaks away from the norm, and the Bommenhagel on this album is great. I've listened to it and it still stands up very well. It was produced by Harris Johns, who played a guitar solo on this original track, and amusingly Harris Johns returns. Even though he's not producing this new version of Bommenhagel, he does play a guitar solo on it. So how do the productions compare? Well, this sounds gloriously old school and it still sounds great to me. It sounds pretty good. Whereas this one, undeniably, it's not like a super modern production, because that's not what Sodom are all about. They're one of the dirtiest, well, probably the dirtiest and filthiest thrash metal band around. You know, certainly the band who's most influenced by Motorhead. And so this production, this new production, certainly isn't crystal clear and squeaky clean. There's no Pro Tools here. It does sound more powerful than this original production, certainly in terms of bass. It sounds really good. And it also helps that this is such a strong lineup of Sodom. It's really pleasing actually that Frank Blackfire, who played on Persecution Mania and then left the band for quite a while, is back in this new lineup. The same lineup who recorded last year's amazing Genesis XIX album. How am I supposed to say Genesis XIX? Is it Genesis 19 or something? I don't know. I've never had to say the album title out loud before. Anyway, yeah, it's a great lineup, and that is really underlined by the 2 new tracks. Yeah, you've got Coup de Grace, which is a very nice kind of straight for the jugular kind of thrash metal track. Quite, quite a typical track, but no worse for it. I mean, that's what we love about thrash metal, the kind of the predictability to a certain extent. And Coup de Grace is a really good Sodom song. I like it a lot. And then you have, I couldn't read this song title for a while because the font on here is absolutely horrendous, but that actually reads Pestiferous Posse, which is a fantastic title. Sodom have always, even from the very early days, they've really gone for really long and obscure words. Proselytism real and brandish the scepter, things like that. Really cool stuff. Anyway, Pestiferous Posse is really good. It's a bit more varied in tempo, a bit more kind of mid-paced and chuggy. Yeah, 2 quality tracks. It really makes this EP more worthwhile, to be honest, because even though you might argue that Bommenhagel certainly didn't have to be recorded, it's great that it's got 2 brand new tracks backing it up. And you know, if it had been backed up by just live songs or something, I think this EP probably wouldn't have felt so special. Let me tell you about a few differences between the original and the new one. I think the new Bommenhagel is a bit faster. Yeah, the that riff, that bass line riff that comes in at the start when the drums kick in, it's kind of almost in blast beat territory as far as I can hear, whereas this one is just very, very fast, but still kind of a thrash beat, a very fast thrash beat. I think it sounds like they've deliberately made this sound faster, which is pretty cool. And also, whereas the original song kind of stopped dead before the bass came back in with that bass line a couple of times during the song, this one takes more of a live approach. The guitars and the drums kind of come to a halt, but the guitars are still fading out and feeding back or whatever, and then the bass line starts up, just more like it would be in a concert scenario, so that's good. And one other difference I noticed is that this original version of Bommenhagel had the German national anthem at the end, played on guitar, whereas this one has not only the German national anthem, but it then segues into the American and Russian national anthems as well. To be honest, that segment, that little medley, doesn't necessarily flow all that well. I think maybe the simplicity of this is probably best. But it's interesting, it's fun to hear the band trying something different with a song after all these years. So which one is best? To be honest, I don't know. Oh God. I kind of came up with that concept for the video, and now I've got to actually say, haven't I? I think you're never going to improve on the original, because it's the original, it's the first recording, it's the old school 1987 version of the song. So I think this version will always be best. But in this one's favour, it sounds more powerful. And it's interesting, it's just interesting to hear what the Genesis XIX lineup of Sodom sound like when they're playing this song in 2021. So I think the original will always be the best because it's the original, but this is a really interesting new version of it. It's cool. Yeah, I like it. I would definitely play this, especially as it's on delightful red vinyl. Please get down in comments and let me know what you think about this new version of Bommenhagel. Does it actually improve upon the original? Thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Hit like if you did. And until the next time, all that remains is to say, metal.